Let's talk about a very passionate subject today, and that's our passions. Our passions and purpose. I don't know for you, but for me, it's been so it seems a lifelong quest that brought is overwhelming share of suffering and torment. We oftentimes go in this rabbit hole of what am I here to do? What's my purpose? What's my calling? What's my meaning? How can I live out of my passions? Oh, I'm doing my passions, but it's not bringing any money, so what's the point? What are my passions anyways? I don't know. And all these kinds of questions. And geez, they are heavy at times. And they were for me for such a long time. I'd like to debunk that a little bit, bring a sense of maybe perspective, a new perspective, which you can bring in your own heart and maybe find some solace for you around that. So where do we start? Well, sometimes we can play with words, can't we? For me, passion may be one thing, and for you, it will mean something else. So let's give a few examples of what passion means. I was reading the Stoics for a long while, and I even had a great Stoic coach in my corner for more than 2 years. Donald, if you'll ever listen to this, thank you. Donald is such a rich depth of knowledge and stoicism, wrote many books. He's a great speaker and an author, a great friend of Ryan Holiday. Donald reminded me a few times that passions for the Stoics were something that you wanted to get rid of. They were the behaviors and inner blockages that were in the way of a eudaimonic life. A life of flourishing, as Martin Seligman, if I pronounce that right, the father of positive psychology, would say. So in order to flourish, in order to live a eudaimonic life, you needed to get rid of your passion. So that's one way that we can look at passions. Some people that might have been raised in a Catholic family heard of the Passion of the Christ. That's another way you can think about passion. For most of us, we think about passions in regards of something that we love, something that brings us joy, some things that we want to do. So all that to say, bear that in mind, playing with the word passion, shifting it on a dime, can help us gain some perspective and detachment from what it can mean and what it is. Let's come back to this. Another thing that we might want to consider is that we bound ourselves with the idea that if we follow our passions and we're able to earn a living out of them, we're going to be happy. There's a very dangerous trap there. That reminds me of Buddha. That's the Buddha's second noble truth. He said that he knew the source or the root of suffering. First noble truth was life is suffering. And second noble truth is the root of suffering is desire. You can change desire for preference, the same thing. When we have such a strong desire or preference to do something out of passion, well, if that doesn't happen, inevitably, we're going to create suffering for ourselves. And I know that for a fact. I've been there, done that, been down this rabbit hole. So, again, realizing that if we fuse with this idea that we absolutely have to live out of our passions or do work that feels purposeful, meaningful, or else we're not happy, we're bored, we don't want to do it, or whatever that might be for you, well, you bet there's going to be suffering around that. So, what do we do then, right? Do we just forget about passion? Do we do nothing? No, of course not, right? We're always going to be faced with some sort of action. We're always going to have to do something in any situation or circumstances. But I think the crucial idea here is to navigate this with ease, with a sense of openness and like a scientific, really. You know, you want to put your lab coat on and experiment with it. Whatever that might look for you. So say that you are passionate about XYZ, and that's not what you're doing right now. And in your line of work, you don't find tremendous passion or purpose. Well, that doesn't mean that you cannot do your passion on the side, whether it's a hobby, or whether it's maybe something that can generate a little bit of revenue for you. It doesn't matter. You can give it a try. You can experiment with it. Ultimately, I feel compelled to remind you that our relationship with work is twisted in the first place. We go to work to get something in most cases. And I did a podcast on that, I believe. So go back in the earliest podcast that I recorded. There's one of this topic. But briefly, we typically go to work to get something. And that's not why we should go to work in the first place anyways. Work is a way to express ourselves. Work is a place we go to give something, to be of service. So if, like me, you've been in a position that you're in a line of work or you're doing something that you're not tremendously passionate about, or you don't find meaning or you don't find purpose, then remind yourself that you're not there for that reason anyways. You're there to give and to serve. And work with that. Slowly but surely. Now, they're not mutually exclusive, right? Like we were saying. You can live out of your passion and earn a living. Or not. And in reality, it doesn't really matter. Because again, if you bound this idea that you need to do both at the same time to be happy, well, you're going to be suffering unless you're doing it. And you might not do it. Just lately, I was talking with someone that is in a great job, and that person is not passionate about the job, but enjoys it. It's okay. It's great. Get to do something that they're interested in, that they're good at. Not passionate about it, but doing great work and pays the bills, and they can engage in other passion at home or elsewhere. And that's fine too. You just play with it. You experiment. It's just a game. Play it well. That's what Martin Luther King told us, when he said, if it falls on your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep the streets as well as you can. And I don't remember the rest, but as if you were doing it for the gods or something like that. I'm paraphrasing so much here. But basically, when the gods are gonna come down and they're gonna look at your job and what you did, they're gonna say, "Oh, here lived the man that swept the streets so well," because that's what you did. You did it to the best of your ability because you can, and that's what it's been given to you. to do. It's the same thing for us. Whatever we do, whether we're passionate or not, whether there's meaning or purpose or not, shouldn't we give the best that we can and honor what life has given us? Because, hey, it's in front of us anyways. That's what it is. That's deep spirituality right there. If you can get to understand that and live it fully, you're going to make such a giant leap in your own evolution, in your own path. That's going to be tremendous, I can assure you. Which leads me to talk about purpose a little bit. There's a few things that I want to mention about that. Purpose, meaning, is something that we are conditioned to go after. It's like a quest. You got to find it, you got to go after it, you got to live it. And we go through so many exercises and questioning and programs and stuff like that, which I did, by the way. Hundreds of pages of journaling, multiple programs, hours of thinking and coaching, hours of coaching around that. It cost me a fortune. And yet to realize now that, geez, all this time, I was missing the point. I'm not saying that you don't have uniqueness or unicity in who you are and what you can bring to this world. You might have gift that you want to offer to this world, and it's beautiful. That's fine, Yes, do it. Exploit them for the benefit of the world. But going after purpose and meaning in such a quest, as we're conditioned to do so, steers us away from the very purpose of what we're here, of our lives. Let me put it this way. You are a soul here on earth to evolve. That's your purpose. It's not in what you do and in what you give and how you're contributing to the world and how you're making the world better and a safer place and all that jazz. It's all beautiful. It's all fine. Good. Do it. Yes. But at the very root, you're a soul sent on earth to evolve. That's it. You gotta do your dharma. You gotta find your ikigai. And by the way, ikigai is not what you think it is. People teach you about those 4 circles and your talents and your skills and how you can pay for it and whatnot. And ikigai comes from Okinawa. It's a Japanese thing, and those four circles have been created by a Spanish man. It's a great concept. Don't get me wrong. It's a tool. Can help figure some things out. But it has become a mass destructive weapon for your soul. Because, again, if you use that as a framework to find your purpose and your meaning in life, then you're putting, again, in a way what you should do and who you are and your skill and whatnot to find purpose and meaning in life, which steers you completely away from being a soul that's here on earth to evolve. And why do you evolve? Well, to free yourself from yourself. That's the root of spirituality right there. Being free, being happy, being at peace, in harmony with life. That's spirituality right there for me. Whatever happens, whatever you do, passionate or not, in purpose or meaning or not, can you be in harmony with life, at peace? Can you do it for you? Yes. And you do it for life, for others. You just honor what is being given to you. That's the true sense of Dharma, as taught to us in Hinduism. Go read the Bhagavad Gita. That's what the first chapter will teach you. When Krishna and Arjuna are having a chat, there's 3 key lines that are getting out of this. Do your Dharma, let go of the fruit, meaning forget about the outcomes. Whether they were positive or negative, it doesn't matter at the end. Just do your best, honor your dharma, forget about the outcome. And then don't forget that you're not the actor. You're not the one doing everything and controlling everything and manufacturing life so that it happens and unfolds in the way that it needs for you to be happy. That's nonsense. But yet we're taught to do that. You sit down with a life coach, that's what you're going to work on. How can I get what I want and attract what I want and be happy with what I need to have in my life so that I'm happy? Whoa, that doesn't work. That's not the essence of what you're here for. Geez, I'm passionate about this subject. So to sum up, I'd say let's gain perspective on the meaning of purpose and going after your calling and meaning and finding passion and living out of your passion in life. Detach yourself from what you are conditioned to think about that, what society pressured you to go after, and step back. Step back enough to see it for what it is not. It is not that. You are welcome to go after your passion and meaning and purpose, but only if you did the work in the first place to see it with what it is truly, with clarity, which is something that you can do for fun, to experiment, and yes, maybe give back to others and for yourself to have fun and enjoy life. But it is not conditional to you being happy and at peace and in harmony with life. And you step back even more after that to see that that's not what you're here for. Your purpose, your true meaning is to be at peace, is to be free, is to evolve. And then you step back even more and you realize that you're not even doing it for you. You're doing it because it's going to unfold in front of you anyways. And you got to honor it. And then you step back even more. And then you start to question, well, then who am I giving it for? Who am I doing it for? And then you start to be at the true essence of what spirituality is. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? I know it does for me, and I hope it does for you. So my invitation to you is to go about your day, about your journey, and just sit with it a little bit. May those words about passion and purpose and meaning create a path within you to free you a little bit more of that quest in regards of what am I here to do? What's my purpose? What's my meaning? What's my calling? What are my passions? And explore it for what it is and reconcile with the fact that they indeed can coexist in any shape or form. Whatever that looks like for you is fine. Just play. Play and play as best as you can. All right. Thank you. See you in the next podcast.